Hey, it's BK on the air here, just to let you know that this is a podcast rebroadcast of my live radio show that you can hear Saturdays 10 a.m. till noon Eastern on 100.3 FM and AM 1450 WBHF. You can stream it at WBHFradio.org or download the free Tunein app for all of your mobile devices. So let's get started. Let me just push this button here and... Okay. All right. Let's try this again. Here we go. Well, all righty then. It's time to get in and strap yourself down and get ready for takeoff, because we're about to. This ship is taxiing down the runway, and we're about to blast off into full retro geeky talk like we do every Saturday morning here with BK on the air. You're listening to AM 1450 and 100.3 FM WBHF radio in beautiful Northwest Georgia is our broadcasting central. I am BK on the air. We got a lot to talk about, a lot of fun to have. I think summer has been here for a while now. It starts to feel, I know that there's a certain date on the calendar when it says, okay, spring starts here. Summer, this is the first day of summer. I can tell that it really starts for summer to arrive, because I know that my better half, Mrs. BK, she's a school teacher by profession. And once she's out for school and she starts taking trips and stuff when she's out. I'm still working, obviously, but she just got back from PCB, Florida. Had a good time down there. I know when that happens, and when I get outside and run around and get in the sunshine, and it hits those 80 and 90 degree days like it has here in Georgia for the past couple of weeks now. It's been creeping on up there, and people are running around with shorts on and doing stuff outside. I see kids outside running through the sprinklers in their front yard, down the slipping slides, and having fun. Going and riding those rides at the amusement park. I know that summer has just launched into full bloom around here, and there's no doubt about it too, with all the summer movies that have been starting to come out and stuff like that. The good old summer movie. Don't you feel too? Can't you tell? I was just saying how it's not just because the date on the calendar say it's the first day of summer. There's things, it either maybe a little before that, a little after that, we start to really feel that it's summertime, and a lot of those things are happening now, like the temperatures and people being outside and running around, and all those temperatures that you're recording and reporting on Bartow's Morning News every morning, right?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Hey, that's to me a true mark of summertime.
I try to wait till I'm introduced before I talk on someone's
Hey,
show.
this is the other guy on the microphone wearing a cap over here. Here he is. Go ahead and start talking, Ralph.
Hey, everybody.
Junior Samples right here on the air. So it's Alan Sanders.
I can't remember the name of that character that sounded that way. Was it
I can't. Yeah, you're talking about the redneck country guy. Is that the guy you're talking about with the overbite?
Oh no, that'd be
that's a guy on The Simpsons.
The slack-jawed yokel. That's a different character. Who's that? What's his name?
I can't remember the names of the other characters, so I don't know. Yeah,
he sings the theme song.
I'm just thinking.
To the show.
I'm just thinking about Cousin Eddie from Vacation.
Oh.
The Quaid guy that plays Randy Quaid. He's like, I don't think you need to add any meat to Hamburger Helper, Clark. I think it's good just by itself.
Can't afford
when
they grilling the hamburgers, it's just the buns.
He tries to say hey to the little girl, and she doesn't say anything. He's like, she can't talk, Clark. She was born without a tongue. He's like, oh, okay. Everything was just wrong, just terrible. Yeah, I've run into folks like that before. Usually at my family reunion. Sorry, no, I'm kidding. That's a joke. Hey,
we got
that's
some
a
folks.
Joke.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, thank you for serving. We got a nice veteran outside our window waving at us. Thank you for serving in the Vietnam War. It's awesome that he did that. Yep. No way. So we see people walking down Main Street and they come by and wave at us and look at us.
If the cable news people can have people gawking through windows as they're doing news, we can have it doing.
And they're taking a chance. They're on the air live. People can do anything back there.
Yeah, thankfully,
on camera,
people could do anything visually that you can't see it, but they can't hear. Which I think is, we talk about this a lot. How funny it is. People will start yelling outside the window. It's like the only thing that can make it through is the train whistle.
And the only way that I can understand you is if I'm a lip reader.
I'm not.
Now, even if you're not a lip reader, some words I can make out, and I don't like them. So I think I could tell what that person said.
You are freaking awesome.
That's right. You are full of... you're the biggest scum bum on the air I've ever heard. Well, I am kind of heavy. I am the biggest one. Certainly here, that's for sure. Well, we got a lot to talk about today. A lot of things have happened since the last time I was on the air. I do it once a week, so I don't get to broadcast every weekday like a lot of people do. So I have to let a week's worth of events happen and then report on it. And some things I'm talking about happened like Wednesday or Tuesday, and everybody's like, we already heard about that. Yeah, but I didn't talk about it yet. So, you got to give me a chance to weigh in on things after they've been out a week or so, because now some things happened Friday night, and some things happened this morning. Mm-hmm. That's when we have the news on playing here on the radio station. We're like, what's happened right now? Is there really a meteor headed this way to completely destroy our planet?
Don't look up.
Yeah, just don't even watch it. That'd be breaking news, wouldn't it? Talk about overusing breaking news all the time.
Yeah.
Breaking news. We're all about to die. I'm like, wait a minute. They've reported that before.
I've always been
killer bees. That didn't happen. Y2K. That didn't kill us all.
No,
so
there's so many things that go overhype.
But,
at some point, I'm a fan of the phrase, "When news breaks, we fix it,"
or make it worse. We make it even. It's more broker. We get done with it.
We know how to tell the news.
Hey, when I was a kid, I remember the killer bees, the bee problem that I heard, because that was like in the mid to late 70s,
Yeah.
And as a child, I'm like, I'm really scared about that. I mean, I had visions of like the movie The Swarm, the Irwin Allen disaster movie, the horrible one. It's like bees just flocking on people and getting through their air vents of their cars and school buses and just stinging everybody to death. That's what I thought of as a kid when I heard that. Funny, it didn't happen.
No.
Wow.
No.
Doom and gloom over Y2K. Now, that was just back in the year 2000, and granted, I was a little older at that point than I was as a kid, but I started to become concerned. I'm like, so the computers are not going to know what to do when they click over to 1/1/2000 or whatever, and they're not going to register that, and they're going to start clicking off, and Coke machines are going to start throwing cans at people and kill them, like in Maximum Overdrive. It's all going to be horrible. Things are going to start falling apart.
I never bought into that, because I did this test, even on my home machine. I set
you set it ahead
to 00/1900.
Right.
It still booted.
Okay.
It still worked.
So and I wasn't really big on computers, so I didn't know a lot about it.
Well, a lot of work was done ahead of time. Yeah, a lot of work was done to make sure companies didn't lose money because their invoices were wrong or their inventory was wrong. Yeah, I think that got a little put out of...
Well, the doom and gloomers...
The news jump. If there's not a crisis they can't jump on, they'll create one.
Well, doom and gloom is over all the time, and I don't like it, but sometimes people overdo breaking news.
That's why we do this show.
But guess what? We got breaking news when I come back from our break. It's BK on the air.
We'll return after these messages.
Steak and Ale welcomes you back to the Old Country Inn.
Come sup with us at Steak and Ale, where hearty dining abounds.
This takes me back to the old days, a place to relax and enjoy a good hearty meal, like this Kensington Club.
The Kensington Club is a sirloin steak, marinated to taste. Lovingly grilled for just the right time, it even compares with our ribs in their prime.
Come join us. It'll be like old times.
Come sup with us at Steak and Ale.
Hi there, time for Timer, your roving reporter. I'm talking to you from inside a fantastic factory, your digestive system. You know what we build here? You! Not out of wood or metal, but out of food. You see, you are what you eat, from your head down to your feet. Things like meat and eggs and fish you need to build up muscle tissue. Uh-oh. Hello, appetite control, more protein. We need energy. Playing tennis today, Whoops. All these motors in your body need a lot of fuel to go on, like carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, vitamins, and so on. What's left over forms the building blocks you need, indeed, to grow on. Yes, you are what you swallow, so that next time you feel hollow, don't just fill your face with any old kind of treat. This goes for every kid or 6-foot athlete. All you really are is what you eat.
Try it, you'll like it.
And now, back to a guy who has no idea what a call of encroachment means, but he knows what roughing the listener is all about. It's BK on the air.
Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. One of my favorite Star Trek episodes was during its first season, entitled The Enemy Within. It included a few firsts for the popular series. For example, the Leonard Nimoy invented Vulcan nerve pinch. Dr. McCoy's first use of the catchphrase, "He's dead, Jim," and the physical replication of Captain Kirk, which happened again in 2 later episodes. Drawing inspiration from the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the episode was written by the legendary Richard Matheson. He was a member of the Southern California Sorcerers, which included other prestigious writers such as Charles Beaumont and Ray Bradbury. Matheson's vast array of novels, screenplays, and short stories in the fantasy, science fiction, and horror genres have influenced many storytellers, including Stephen King and Anne Rice. Directors George Romero, Roger Corman, and Steven Spielberg all regarded him as an influence. Just some of his notable films included The Omega Man, The Incredible Shrinking Man, The Trilogy of Terror, The Pit and the Pendulum, Somewhere in Time, and one of my personal favorites, The Legend of Hell House. Classic TV movies like Steven Spielberg's 1971 directorial debut, Duel, and 1972's The Night Stalker also came from the mind of Matheson. Of his 16 total classic Twilight Zone scripts, 2 popular ones come to mind here, specifically Nick of Time and Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, both starring William Shatner. With prestigious awards ranging from his induction to the Science Fiction Hall of Fame to the Bram Stoker and World Fantasy Lifetime Achievement Awards, it's safe to say that Richard Matheson's legacy had indeed boldly gone where no writer had gone before. This is Pat McCormick with your Retro TV trivia from the Golden Rage of TV. You can also find me on YouTube and Facebook at Golden Rage of TV and on Twitter at Golden Rage of TV1. And now back to BK on the Air.
Captain's log, stardate 1672.9. Due to the malfunction of the ship's transporter, an unexplained duplicate of myself exists.
What can I do for you, Jim?
I said give me the brandy!
Come on, Spark, I know that look. What is it?
Well, our good doctor said that you were acting like a wild man.
Oh, Captain. You started hurting me. I had to fight you. Fisher saw you, too.
It wasn't me.
It was you, sir. I'm Captain Kirk! I'm Captain Kirk!
Yeah, Richard Matheson, what a talented writer he was. Now, you remember he Pat mentioned 2 of the episodes of The Twilight Zone with Shatner. Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, where he's on the plane. Popular episode, probably one of the most popular that they made into a movie later with John Lithgow on the plane. And the other episode called Nick of Time with William Shatner, do you remember that episode? That's the one that's not quite well known as the other one where he's on the plane. Do you remember that one?
I bet if you reminded me, I
the
would
plot of it, because
yes.
you always go, I remember the plot, but I don't remember the title.
Yeah.
That's the episode where Shatner and his wife, they play a married couple that their car breaks down in this little town, and they pull in, and he sits down at this diner while they're waiting for their car to be fixed. And there's a little fortune-telling machine with a little devil's head on the top of it on the table. And you put a penny in, and you ask it a question, and it'll answer your question. It comes out on a piece of paper. Well, he starts to as a pass the time, he plays with it and stuff, and he gets answers and asks its questions, and it starts to predict everything exactly right and perfect and truthful, and he becomes obsessed with it. Through the whole episode. And it's another one of those interesting episodes where it's like it's got that twist ending, look out, because of what's going on. Then he becomes obsessed with, are we going to make it out of this town alive? Ask us the question, And it's like one of those magic 8 balls, only it's a little
more sinister.
It's a little machine that with a place for a penny, and on top it's got a bobblehead of a devil with pointed ears, believe it or not, and pointed eyebrows.
What's crazy is I remember what you're describing, but I could not tell you how it even ends.
Right.
I have a familiarity. Once you said the little machine, I was like, oh yeah, there was a fortune-telling
thing. Yeah. Well, Richard Matheson, I didn't know. Pat taught me something because I knew he wrote one of the episodes, but I didn't know he wrote both of them. But Enemy Within with Kirk, that was written by Richard Matheson. That was one of the best first season episodes of Star Trek, where the transporter splits Kirk into 2 beings. One of them is completely, it's all of his anger and rage and emotion all in one being, and then the other one is him without that, showing he can't survive without that side of himself. He can't make any decisions without that that arrogant, sometimes evil, sometimes mad, sometimes wild personality that you need in there, that you can hold in check.
You need the yin and the yang.
That's right, yeah.
There's a reason it's drawn that way. You need both.
Cool. Speaking French on me again. That's really cool. Oh, you're French. I thought
yin and
French.
yang.
Yeah.
How did you get French?
Because it's me. I don't know anything. I always make a mistake. I got some breaking news. I got some headlines here that I want to go through. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Top Gun. Wow, a sequel to a movie from 1986. It seems to be cementing Paramount's miraculous box office comeback, it says here in this headline, with another $14 million just this past Thursday. Skydance and Paramount's Top Gun Maverick zoomed past the $200 million domestic haul with a $203 million 7-day total. It's also quickly becoming Paramount's biggest domestic earner in a generation. Were you and did you watch and like the original Top Gun movie?
When it first came out, and for years, I say years, because it came out when I was in high school.
86, yeah, I think, yeah.
Loved it.
Right.
Thought it was so cool. I was big into them. Obviously, I've always loved jets my whole life.
I love
jets are cool.
Military jets and stuff.
And in the 80s, if you're going to shoot down Russians, that's always fun, right?
Sure.
Even if they denied the incident ever took place.
Could be now, too, if you think about it.
Well, yeah.
Today. So sorry.
We've come full circle.
I don't know, yeah.
I rewatched it 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. The original. I mean, it's still it's a cheesy 80s movie, but I realized it did not hold up as well.
Oh, okay. Some do and some don't. Yeah, some movies,
I look back, I was like, yeah, it's a product of its time. It was great in the day, but so I was hesitant about going to see Maverick.
Which you haven't seen yet, right?
I have not seen
Okay,
yet.
you haven't seen it.
Well, one of the things that I did tell you about that I wanted to go see only for the flight sequences, because I knew Tom Cruise had made a deal with the Navy.
Yeah, I saw that.
All of the actors were going to be in actual fighter jets doing those actual maneuvers. You don't see the real pilot. They're pretending to be pilots.
Right.
But their reactions, their facial responses, the physics, that's all real.
Kind of like with Apollo 13, where it's not effects of them in weightless. They're actually weightless on the Vomit Comet plane filming those scenes in the capsule, which is only mean they could film for only 5-6 minutes at a time, and that was it.
It's that long, but
and do it again, yeah. Well, that's good that he did that. Well, I've never been a Top Gun fan. I didn't see it in the theater when it came out, but I finally did watch it on, I think, something that I remember it used to be called videotape. From Blockbuster Video, I rented it or something like that. And I thought exactly what you did, though. Now, I thought that then, where it's just the 80s. This is just a bunch of arrogant guys, pilots, flying in a danger zone, Kenny Loggins song. It's just all over the place. It's just, and Tony Scott directed it. Brother of Ridley Scott directed that movie, and it was just over the top 80s romance. Guns and jets and stuff like that, egos and stuff.
It's very formulaic.
And it was an entertaining movie, I guess, is what you could say. I'm wondering if this one is not really probably going to be the same thing, I guess, of today.
What I've heard is it's universally from critics. This is on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way,
right?
Which
it got a very high rating, which is crazy.
They said it's very rare that the sequel exceeds the original. And that's what they're saying about this one, that it's a better story,
right?
Better acting, better emotional arc, and you still have all the action that you're craving from a big blockbuster movie.
I'd like to look at Rotten Tomatoes and see what its rating right now is for Top Gun from '86. I wonder if it's do they rate them further back like that older
you should
ones?
Be able to look it up.
We should look that up and see that. But so Top Gun there's no doubt that it's already a success and becoming a bigger success.
But you know why I've heard it's a success more than anything? People want a movie that they can enjoy, have fun, and not be lectured.
Yeah,
and
that's a good point.
I'm hearing from multiple people, both on the left and the right, that on the left are saying, amazing how you can still get away with a movie like this without having to address anything.
Really? Okay.
So, that's their compliment. And on the right, it's somewhat similar, but it's amazing. You don't have to have a woke message to have a good movie.
So both sides are saying the same message for different reasons.
Different reasons,
which
exactly.
is kind of funny. Well,
one is
that's
I'm
interesting.
Surprised a movie cannot have a woke message and be good. And then it was of course a movie can be good without a woke message.
It's escapism. We don't have to always be hit over the head with a message every time we see a movie. Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. Don't always hit me over the head with something. Well, if anybody's seen it, 770-386-1450. Give me a call and tell me what you thought about Top Gun Maverick and or anything lately. Any of the summer movies that have come out. If you've seen Obi-Wan, which continues to flow right along on Disney Plus, the latest Star Wars television series is on Disney Plus, and also Stranger Things season 4 is now on Netflix. Now Netflix is still treating Stranger Things as in releasing them all at once. Mm-hmm. They're still doing that, unlike the other streaming services who have learned maybe we'll just do one in a week, and that way people won't become so bored with it. It'll last a little longer or something like that. I'll admit something to you. I liked that at first. I thought, the whole show's out. I can just binge it and watch it and lose a lot of time. And then shows started like The Mandalorian and like this new Star Trek series and Obi-Wan. We're releasing them one in a week. Wasn't it one of the Marvel shows that
Game
did
of Thrones was doing
was
it
Game
only
of Thrones
one a
did
week.
that? Okay. Once a week now, I'm fine with going back with that because that gives me time to breathe. I can wait. The anticipation helps me build a little bit longer. And someone says, well, you can still do it if you stream it. Just don't watch the next one. I'm like, that's not always possible.
But see, that's the thing. It's like saying, here's the key to the candy room, but you don't have to eat it all in one day.
You went with candy. I was going to actually say, oh, there's a bag of Lay's chips open right there. You can't eat just one. You just eat one chip. After a long time, you've eaten the whole bag, so half the bag.
Look, we'll go with something more manly. Look, you got all these steaks.
All these steaks. Oh, no.
You don't have to eat one every meal.
I know I don't have to.
But you've given me all of them.
But do I want to? It's there for the taking. So, yeah, I like the once-a-week thing.
I go
like
back
that.
and forth. I'm disciplined enough. I try to only watch a couple anyway. The Lincoln Lawyer, also Netflix.
Okay.
10 episode, season 1, based on Michael Connelly's books. Really, really good. Well done.
Right.
I watched it over the course of about 5 days.
Wow. That's
because
cool.
I did two a day. But what I do like about the once a week is it makes me sometimes go back and rewatch the episode again before the next one drops.
Yeah, and sometimes they give you that recap at the beginning.
Rather than watch the recap, I will just rewatch the episode.
The whole thing.
And I like that.
Well, sometimes we have to do that with the shows all together because sometimes if it's a long period of time between when the show ended and the next season starts, I'm like, I forgot what happened in the last couple of episodes.
With Game of Thrones, we did that as I had gotten caught up and we were waiting for the next seasons. We'd be like, okay, well, it's getting ready to launch. Let's go back and rewatch from the beginning so we were all caught up.
Well, after the last episode of the new season, the first episode of the new season of Stranger Things season 4. It was over. I looked over at Mrs. BK. I'm like, what'd you think about that? And she was frozen. She was like, what?
And then she immediately said, watching the next episode.
No, she didn't. You know what she does? When she sees something scary, she has to watch something funny to cleanse herself from it. She hated that.
I thought you said you watched two.
No, we did. And both of them end horribly scary.
We'll return after these messages.
Hello, I'm Vincent Price. For many years now, mankind and his offspring have been searching for an alternative to peanut butter and jelly. After employing the latest methods in technology, the Peter Paul Candy Company has found the alternative to peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter with no jelly. Pure, creamy peanut butter dotted with Crispies, covered with pure milk chocolate, but no jelly. I'm sure you're as pleased as I am.
To terrorize your neighborhood.
We're at Monster Stadium. Frankenberry steps to the plate.
I'll fill it with my delicious strawberry-flavored cereal, Frankenberry.
You're out! A good nutritious breakfast with Count Chocula is a real hit.
Frankenberry.
Count Chocula. Both you guys are daddy.
Star Trek, the motion picture, collector's close-ups.
It's Mr. Spock. And Lieutenant Uhura.
You can get Star Trek, the motion picture, collector's close-ups. 2 on each specially marked box of the Monster cereals.
Oh, we're back. We're having so much fun in here when the microphones are off. If you could only hear what we're talking about when we're talking with the mics off.
Well, you could do that, but then you're risking your employment.
Well, that would like showing Boogie Nights edited on the Disney Channel. You couldn't. It would be 30 seconds long, maybe 15 seconds.
What's that to say about Blazing Saddles?
Can't do that. It's time that we flash the audience of the news, the weird, the strange, and the bizarre. And we got a few interesting ones for you today. I have the first news from UPI. Ride-sharing user Uber released its 6th annual Lost and Found Index, revealing some of the most common and most unusual items left behind in drivers' vehicles. Now, if you don't recall, a few weeks ago, we did the story of crazy Uber callers, like people robbing a bank and then you trying to use Uber to get away. Some of the craziest Uber rides. These are the things they found in cars. The Lost and Found Index, released this past Friday, revealed the most common items left behind in Uber vehicles during the past year were, let's go through them, phones, cameras, wallets, keys, backpacks, purses, headphones, headphone speakers, glasses, clothing, vaping devices, jewelry, and IDs. Now,
all those seem reasonable.
Some of the more unique items reported lost. These are the more interesting ones. This is the meat of it. By passengers, including, here are some of these. Tater tots, a fingernail, my grandma's teeth, 500 grams of caviar.
Oh, there you go. That's a haul.
A pizza costume. Not a pizza costume. Left behind. And
Must
an
have
Uber.
been quite an evening.
Here's another one. A painting of a moose. I don't know why expletive is in there. And that. A Billie Eilish ukulele. The girl that sung the horrible Bond theme. Yeah, I think that's how you say her name. An Employee of the Month plaque. I guess they didn't value it very much. Just left it behind.
Another one of these.
We'd never leave one behind because we never get one.
Exactly.
A Bernie Sanders fanny pack. That's kind of funny. A crochet strawberry.
Okay.
Strawberry. A bucket of slime.
They just come from the Nickelodeon.
I don't know if it's that or it's just real slime or Ghostbusters. I don't know where the slime came from. But if it's in an Uber car, it's going to be negative slime. A brown tortoise, and it says also a ball gag and stethoscope. I have no idea. Those are together, by the way, not separate. So I have no idea.
Say,
Okay, now we'll take your heart rate and see what it is. Okay.
Bring out the GIMP. Oh, no!
Uber said that more than 40 riders lost their CPAP machines, more than 30 reported lost retainers, and 5 people, like grandma's teeth, reported lost dentures.
Oh, my gosh.
So the things, and these aren't taxis. These are people using, I guess, their personal vehicles for Uber purposes. They're like, I've just got done with my Uber shift. Time to fumigate the car and wipe it down with an antiseptic.
Oh.
Not because of COVID, but because of all this other crap.
Exactly.
It's terrible. So, yeah.
All right. Well, guess what? I've got the next news.
Never heard, man, that's as nasty as the floor of a taxi cab. Oh, that's terrible. What's worse is the floor of a theater, probably.
Wasn't that a Bill Murray line from a movie? Like,
It could have
like
been,
the
yeah.
floor of a taxi cab.
I drank too much vanilla extract.
Was that from
Was it
Ghostbusters?
Stripes? Or I can't remember what that
Or
was
was
from.
it Stripes?
It does seem
It
really
was like
familiar.
this all sticky and nasty. I feel like the floor of a taxi cab. All right. Well, from UPI, organizers of Guinness World Records attempt in Britain said 388 people donned mermaid tails to successfully break the record for the world's largest gathering of merfolk.
Ah, mermaids abound.
Mm-hmm. Pauline Barker, founder of the Devon and Cornwall Wild Swimming Group. I think people joined for the wrong reason. It's like, what I was expecting.
Not what we thought. But I'll go with it.
Said the official count of the 2022 Mermaid Challenge at Tinside Lido in Plymouth was 388, exceeding the goal of 301 set by Guinness Book of World Records. Wow. Participants in the Thursday record attempt were required to be dressed as fish from the waist down with bathing suits, bikini tops, or bare chests on top.
Oh, wait a minute. Really? They have to have the long hair like Ariel coming down, I guess, yeah.
The record attempt was organized by Baker, with support from Plymouth Active Leisure, the Nation Marine Park Horizons Project, as well as Plymouth City Council. Evidence from the record attempt is being submitted to Guinness World Records for official recognition.
Mermaids. Remember, I had the story of the people dressing up as vampires the other day.
I didn't realize that was a small number.
Mermaids.
You'd think you could,
Wow.
in today's day and age of social media, that we could get more than 388 people to show up
That
dressed
does
like a
seem
mermaid.
rather low. What did the Indian say to the mermaid when he saw her? How? I got the next news. An Indiana donut shop broke a Guinness World Record when it sold 8,558 donuts in a single day of business. Tom's Donuts in Angola said the Guinness World Record attempt 1 week ago, and the store's owner said the customers had already started lining up to buy the donuts when he arrived at the store at 4 a.m. A Guinness adjudicator was on hand to confirm the business sold over 8,000 donuts this past Saturday, exceeding the goal of 1,700 set by record-keeping organization. Todd Saylor, owner of Tom's Donuts and son of business founder Tom Saylor, said the store reached the goal by Guinness by 8 a.m. Saturday the 28th. The successful Guinness World Record attempt earned congratulations on Facebook by the mayor of Angola, Richard Hickman. Now, as we know, it was National Donut Day on Friday, so they did this like a week before National Donut Day came along. And a special shout-out to Mrs. BK. There's a great place we love to visit in Panama City Beach called Amore Donuts that's across from the condos that we go to. She brought me back a donut and wrote on it in the kitchen, "Hey, this is for National Donut Day that just went by," and brought me back one.
Aww.
That was the Captain Crunch donut with Captain Crunch cereal on it. I'm like,
donuts.
I'm ready, Captain.
That's all your calories for the day. Enjoy it.
Maybe you. I'm just getting started. That was breakfast.
All right, I got the next news.
Is the defibrillator still in the lobby?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good.
I'm not sure if I know how to use it.
Start. You're smart.
I'm smart.
You could do it.
Place diode here.
And it's positive, negative. Remember? It's positive,
Make
negative.
sure you don't cross the
streams.
A man disguised as an elderly woman in a wheelchair.
I just think Norman Bates when I read that. It's Norman Bates.
What have you got me reading?
Oh, you'll see. It's actually pretty terrible when you read it. It's kind of bad.
Well, it's terrible to start.
Yeah, it gets worse.
A man, which we still believe in that here in the show.
Yes.
A man disguised as an elderly woman.
Yes.
In a wheelchair smeared cake across a piece of glass that protects the Mona Lisa at Paris's famous Louvre Museum and was sent for a psychiatric evaluation. You think?
I'm glad there's still glass
Are you
there.
suggesting that people who think that there's something other than they are might in fact be suffering from some kind of
Maybe
problem requiring
delusions?
Psychological evaluation?
Delusions or something, or
Perhaps.
problems? Yeah.
There may be something. The elevator doesn't quite make it all the way to the top floor.
They might, Rabbit. They might. That's right.
The incident happened on Sunday when the man, who wore a black wig and lipstick, abruptly smeared the glass with a piece of cake. One witness said in a tweet that the man jumped out of the wheelchair and attempted to smash the bulletproof glass of the Mona Lisa before he smeared the cake on it. Another said he also threw roses before he was tackled by security. Some of the stunt appear to be a climate change protest.
Oh, whatever.
Again,
okay.
Someone who needs some psychiatric evaluation.
What's that got to do with the Mona Lisa?
And the 36-year-old man shouted in French to think about the earth. But that's the translation. The man was arrested and sent for psychiatric evaluation. Some details about the Mona Lisa, but bulletproof glass was placed over the painting after 2 attacks back in 1956 when it was splashed with acid and chipped with a rock.
Well, my question is, think about the cake. The cake.
No breakfast, Mom. My turn to feed the class turtle. Cinnamon donuts.
The traffic's all tied up. I'll get coffee later. Do I smell crumb cakes?
Funny how people with no time for breakfast often find time when breakfast means Hostess. Like Hostess crumb cakes, fresh from the Hostess Breakfast Bake Shop in your store.
May I have my donut now?
Sure, the turtle can wait.
Keep 'em home for breakfast with Hostess crumb cakes and donuts.
Fruit juicy. Hey, how about a nice Hawaiian punch?
Sure.
You taste 7 kinds of fruit in Hawaiian punch. 7 kinds of fruit in Hawaiian punch. Hawaiian punch is made with 7 kinds of fruit for a one-of-a-kind fruit taste.
Hawaiian Punch Fruit Punch with 10% real fruit juice for a real fruit juicy taste.
Hawaiian punch is made with 7 kinds of fruit
for a one-of-a-kind fruit taste.
Hey, we're back. It's BK on the air here on AM 1450 and 100.3 FM WBHF. Having just such a wonderful time. I'm almost just exploded here in the studio with excitement. Can't contain my. I'm like one of those bottle rockets when I get excited. Now, when I turn the mic on, I have to be kind of calm down and stuff. Which is
Right,
fine.
it's not a podcast.
No.
I mean, it turns into one.
It
but
turns into a podcast.
It's got to stay safe first.
That's right. I have the last news. This one's kind of interesting from UPI. A team of Northwestern University engineers announced the invention of the world's smallest robot-controlled walking robot. Remote-controlled walking robot. I said robot control. That means it would be controlled by a robot. That would be scary, too. That'd be kind of like the Terminator, wouldn't it?
Could be what's already
this
happening.
This is a remote-control walking robot, which measures only
detailed files.
Hey, this thing only measures 1/2 a millimeter wide. Did you? Oh, you saw it already.
I saw this story.
The engineer said in research published in the Journal of Scientific Robotics that their crab-like robot is smaller than the thickness of a penny.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
What? John A. Rogers, an engineering professor at the Evanston, Illinois school and co-author of the research study, said it took his team 1.5 years to develop the tiny robots. Oh, there's more than one. The robots can walk, twist, turn, and jump. They are made of malleable shape memory alloy, which moves by changing shape when heat is applied. That is the Terminator in Terminator 2, isn't it? Rogers said the necessary heat comes from lasers. Quote, a laser is a convenient way to do it because we can focus the light into a very tiny spot, and we can scan that spot around to illuminate different parts of the robot's body in a time sequence, he told CNN. He said the robots could be used eventually for surgical purposes or making repairs to small-scale machines, or possibly, it says in parentheses, taking over the world.
By your command. So, there. The idea of nanotechnology and the ability to have these micro robots that could actually go, I mean, that to me is really exciting.
It's cool. Yeah.
But there's always, and I said this on one of my shows, I always see the positives, and I have to remind myself that there's going to be somebody out there that's going to look at it from a negative. Yep. Hey, we could put this in someone's food and assassinate somebody by cutting their artery from inside.
Hey, that guy's going nuts for no apparent reason, and I can't see anything wrong with him. Oh, now he's dead. Oh, what's that crawling out of his nose and his orifices? Like little spiders.
What's coming out of his ear? These are pets.
Yes.
Not entirely domesticated.
How interesting that you should make a Wrath of Khan reference with its wonderful little anniversary that is
every
today.
Now and then, the blind squirrel gets lucky with the time of day.
The clock that's not working is right
the
twice.
The clock finds a nut twice a day. Wait, what?
That's right. That doesn't make sense, but yet I understood it, and that's me.
No,
but the nanotechnology is incredible.
Think how cool that would be if you had, let's say, a clogged artery, and rather than having to. Even now, it's fairly. I mean, you still have to invade because you're putting stuff through to clean. Imagine saying, "We're going to insert this into the vein,
these little
and
robots.
It's going to go and clean it out for you."
Sure, and then they're going to come back out.
And, or will dissolve,
or they'll dissolve, or something like that.
I think that's incredible.
See, I'm thinking of practical applications to neighbors that you don't like. That's where I'm thinking that I could go with it.
How do I infiltrate their home?
They're playing that noise way too loud, that music, cutting their lawn with the loud lawnmower at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning when I'm trying to sleep. I'll just get my app and call my little nanobots. Kind of like Ant-Man does the ants, and just tell them what to do.
Go in there and
take care of business.
Just put it inside the electrical box, goes in there and snips a couple of connections.
Or I'll just have him attack the lawnmower. Yeah, just take care of the lawnmower. Yeah, just get in the lawnmower and disable it,
There are diabolical things for everything.
Hey, ever since Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, we knew that there was going to be that one person to start doing the obscene phone calls with it. There's always the one person that takes it and uses it for the wrong purpose.
What happens if I dial a random number and just mess with the person?
and do a little heavy breathing and stuff? What'll I do?
Hey, man, is your refrigerator running? You better hurry up and go catch it.
Or the jokes. Hang up. Or like we did when I was a kid in the 80s. We had the real smart idea of going, we love that Tommy Two-Tone song, 867-5309, the Jenny song. Well, let's just dial 867-5309. I mean, we were in, I think it was junior high school or ninth grade. I can't remember when it was. So we dialed this number from friend's house. Parents weren't home. And a guy answered, hello. We're like,
hey, can we talk to Jenny?
He's like, what? I said,
Jenny. We want to talk to Jenny. This is 867-5309, isn't it?
He goes,
yeah, and I've got caller ID.
We're like, oh, sorry. It just hung up the phone because back when it was new. we're like, okay, he didn't call back. This guy's parents are going to be really mad if this guy calls back. Let's just deny that we did anything. But this guy sounded really mad.
You may not have been the first person to do that.
I don't think we were. But we were the first ones probably in that little neighborhood that did. Probably were the very first ones. Speaking of that, telephone 770-386-1450 is our number here. We're live all the way up until noon today Eastern. If you want to give us a call about anything, talk about anything. I still got more news coming up. We covered Top Gun. We covered Obi-Wan. We covered Stranger Things. Season 4 is now in full release on Netflix. But I can do this one before we go to the top of the hour. This is another kind of a breaking thing. Chris Hemsworth, the guy who plays Thor, just recently posted on Twitter. He says Furiosa, the new Mad Max Universe movie has started filming already.
Yay!
So that makes us very happy because Alan and I are great big fans of the Mad Max cinematic universe, I guess. You remember when we never said the term cinematic universe, but we knew what we meant when we go, oh, that's part of the same movies? Then that is, It just has a term now.
Before, and it still works, is world building. You believe
world building,
they do such a good job, and it's all the little details on the outside.
Right, and each one is different from the other one, but they're still connected by it takes place in the same area.
And you just believe in if I say Mad Max, everyone knows exactly what you're talking about. When you say that's a Mad Max future.
TV did it back in the day. I mean, Jefferson's All in the Family, Maude, they were part of the same world. Happy Days, Mork and Mindy, Laverne and Shirley, they were all part of the same world. Mary Tyler Moore, Lou Grant, Phyllis, Rhoda were all part of the Mary Tyler Moore world. Well, this came out. Actor Chris Hemsworth announced on Twitter that Mad Max prequel Furiosa has begun filming. Quote, a new journey in the Mad Max saga begins. Hashtag Furiosa. The actor tweeted on Wednesday along with a photo of a black and white clapperboard with the movie's name on it on set. Franchise director George Miller returned to helm the latest installment, which stars the Queen's Gambit actress, Emmy Award winner, Anna Taylor-Joy as the title character. I guess Furiosa is definitely younger in this film. It's a prequel. The post-apocalyptic film is being shot in New South Wales and set to open on June the 23rd, 2023. That's just next year, and with us, that'll go in a snap of the fingers. It is the origins of the character that Charlize Theron played in the 2015's Mad Max Fury Road, which starred Tom Hardy as Max in that one. The character that Chris Hemsworth plays in Furiosa has not been revealed to the public, by the way, so we don't know who he's playing. But he's probably definitely Australian because he's from Australia. He won't have to suppress his accent.
I'm sure I'm wrong about this, but I thought he was going to play a bad guy.
I don't know. Maybe he is. It hasn't been released, but that would be interesting. I don't think I've seen Chris play a baddie
No,
because
he's always kind of the hero or maybe a gray, kind of like the Han Solo-ish where there's been a couple of movies where he's a mercenary, but he has a line that he won't cross.
What was the true movie he was in that was based on the military operation in the Middle East? What you remember what it was called?
Oh, wasn't it
it had a number in it. See, I can't remember what it was. If only we could just look it up and see.
Oh my goodness, it was.
You know the one I'm talking about. That was a fantastic movie. Did you see it?
It was. Oh my God, is it 13 something? I know there's a movie 13 Hours.
I gotta look it
that's
up.
the Benghazi thing.
Look it up.
This was 12 behind the line or 12 minutes.
You're close. I know you're getting close.
It's something. It's on the tip of my tongue.
And when I say it, you know what we're going to do.
Yeah,
we're going to
go,
that's it.
That's what it is.
That's it. Well, the point I'm trying to make on that is we saw that. Oh, it's Extraction. Was it called Extraction? No, that's another movie.
That's not.
Okay.
I saw that on Netflix. That was good.
Extraction was good. But what's it called? It's not. Okay, here, let's look at his credits. The reason I'm bringing that up is I like Chris Hemsworth out of this Thor realm is still a good actor, and we saw that movie on. Was it 12 Strong?
No.
Was that the name of it?
Nope.
12 Strong?
God bless America. How can we not think of this?
That's got the number in it. I thought that was
Unless we're getting him mixed up with someone else in a movie, but I thought he was. It was basically about the very first start of the.
Yeah, that's it. 12 Strong. Directed by it's the movie where they rescue. Yeah, that's it. It's called 12 Strong. That's the one I saw. Yeah. Green Berets, Operation Detachment Alpha, after September 11th, 2001. Yeah, that's the film.
About the
12
first
Strong
incursion. Or
the point I was trying to make is we saw that on the cruise ship when we took our last cruise. It was playing on the ship. You know, when sometimes they'll show movies out on the deck. You know, when you sit there at the pool and watch the movie. And we actually got to watch it because they showed it at night, and there was a lot of people out on the ship that night, and it was quiet. We actually got to see it, and it had good sound and everything. But it was really fun, and we really enjoyed it. It was a well-done movie with Chris in it, and he's a well-rounded actor. I've even heard that he is as bad as the remake of Ghostbusters was with the female cast. I heard that he was the funniest part about it.
I told you that, too.
Yeah.
You need to watch it only for that reason.
That'd probably be the only reason I'd watch it would be for that reason.
He is so funny in the female Ghostbusters. Oh my gosh, he is great.
But our point is he's a good actor. We think he's great in things other than Thor, so we're really glad to see him.
I'm always intrigued by
Furiosa.
Especially hot or attractive actors who can be self-deprecating. That makes them even more charming when they go, you know what, I can poke fun at myself. I'm not so perfect that I'm just going to... No.
Well, yeah.
And when he played that character, I mean, he played a stupid, dumb jock who didn't even know how stupid he was. Like, he was so unaware of his own stupid.
Would you also agree that Charlize Theron is hot actress, hot person? I'm asking you this, right?
Uh-huh.
The guy who has a Charlize Theron shrine in his basement with a candle on it. When she was in that movie Monster about the serial killer lady,
right?
She's able to do that too in roles, and that's a mark of a good actor. She's not only a pretty face. Sometimes that's all you have with a pretty face is a pretty face. But when you got the acting chops to back it up, and when she showed up at the end, spoiler alert, it's been out too long now. She shows up at the end of Doctor Strange as Klee, a fellow sorceress who draws magic from the dark realm where Dormammu is from. That was a welcomed addition. I'm looking forward to seeing what she does. That's going to be great.
She's a very, very good actress.
Doctor Strange was romantically involved with her for the long time.
And technically, she did a strange superhero kind of movie once upon a time. Not Marvel. It was Hancock.
Wasn't she in
Hancock.
Eon Flux too? Didn't she play Eon
but
Flux?
that's not a superhero.
Right. Well, she kind of is from MTV, kind of a crazy
I think it was
character.
her that played Eon Flux.
I can't remember what it was.
I thought it was the Black Widow who did that.
I'll have to look and see.
That was a different movie.
That was another one. See, that thing starts to get cloudy when you're in your
together.
50s. When you're in your 50s, you're like, oh, wait. Speak on there. We'll try to remember things on a break here when we go.
We will return after these messages.
Blip is the digital game that you can take with you anywhere. With the batteries you supply, the light-emitting diode zips across the screen. You try to press the right button to send it back. An automatic readout keeps score. 2 people or only one can play. When you play with Blip, you get carried away. And so does Blip. Blip, the digital game from Tomy.
I'd like to talk to you about good things to eat, like Swiss cheese on a crisp Ritz cracker, or a chunk of ham on a crisp Ritz cracker. Peanut butter and jelly on a crisp Ritz cracker. Everything tastes great when it sits on a Ritz. You hungry? Then have some onion dip on a crisp Ritz cracker. Good cracker. Good cracker. From Nabisco. Good cracker. Good cracker.
We only take just a momentary break here. Be down there at WBHF. You know, we got to do things like go to the restroom, record things, field complaints at the front door about who's on the radio right now. Who is that idiot on the radio?
Or in this case, re-barricade the door.
Re-barricade the door. I think we used caulk and soldering iron this time. Maybe that'll work a little better because I can't get a hold of a welding device.
Aliens welder.
Can't get a hold of it. Yeah, it's just a few seconds more. Hold on, almost there. Let's do a little on to this day in history. Today is June the 4th on this day in history. Like I said earlier, we're in the midst of summertime, and it's so fun. 1896, Henry Ford has something to do with a car.
Perhaps.
The Savoy Auto Museum might be interested in this. Henry Ford, on this day, takes his first Ford through the streets of Detroit on this day in history in 1896. Really? Yep. Understand it broke down twice. There we go. And he couldn't get parts, It was terrible.
Remember the old joke back in the late 70s,
what
early
Ford
80s?
Stands for?
Ford. Two things. Fix often, repair daily.
Yes.
Or found on road dead.
Yep.
Hey, I have a Ford now.
I would tell you the other
one.
I would tell you the other one, but I have to tell you off the air what the other acronym that I was told in school it stood for.
There are other acronyms for other cars, but yes.
That's right. 1940 on this day, the British complete the miracle of Dunkirk by evacuating 338,226 Allied troops from France via a flotilla of over 800 vessels, including Royal Navy destroyers, merchant marine boats, fishing boats, pleasure craft, and even lifeboats. And it was a heck of an undertaking that they did that.
The movie's fantastic. Christopher Nolan, Dunkirk.
I saw that in a theater, and how ironic and weird that also on this day in history, June the 4th, 1942, the movie Mrs. Miniver, based on the novel by Jan Struther, directed by William Wyler, and starring Greer Garson and Walter Pidgeon, is released in the U.S., and it took Best Picture for 1943. It's exactly what that movie's about, is the daily lives of the British and how they helped the evacuation of Dunkirk. If you haven't seen Mrs. Miniver, too, it's a fantastic movie based on that happening.
Amazing Academy Award-winning director.
He was a great director.
And I didn't know this until I saw that documentary about the 5 different Hollywood directors that all were hired or worked on the War Department to create films to support the war effort and to document the war effort. unbelievable backgrounds.
If you get a chance, watch Mrs. Miniver. It's been remastered. It's black and white. It's black and white, people. I know some people don't like black and white movies or silent ones, but come on, expand your movie horizon sometimes and go dig a little deeper into the past. There are some movies that came out before 1999 that are actually really good movies. Today on this day in history, in 1967, the 19th Annual Emmy Awards took place in Mission Impossible. The Monkees, Don Knotts, and Lucille Ball won big for the Emmy Awards that year. Hey, Don Knotts and Lucille Ball, there's two classic comedy legends right there that probably just should have won an Emmy every year just whether they had a show or not, because they were so funny and so great. On this day in history, 2004, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban was released on this day, which just happens to be my favorite Harry Potter film.
Yeah.
I loved that one.
As
it's
a story,
great.
As everything you want from that kind of a world.
That's the perfect Harry Potter film.
There's nothing
for me.
wrong with that movie.
You get Gary Oldman in it, which now everyone asks, who's your favorite Harry Potter fan? I'm like, for me, it was Sirius Black. He was my favorite character in Harry Potter. He was fantastic. What a great job he did, too. He does a great job in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Remember first seeing him in the Sex Pistols movie, Sid and Nancy, in the 80s. You remember that? And I'm like, who is this guy?
Or
Gary Oldman.
The
wow,
coke-fueled bad cop in that the Professional.
Oh, Professional. Yeah, that was really. Wasn't Natalie Portman?
Natalie
was in that,
Portman,
right? Yeah.
very young girl.
Yeah, he was like. Gary Oldman was insane in that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you, I don't know if you've seen that latest Harry Potter documentary celebrating their anniversary. Yeah. He's on there. You know, he's totally gray now and everything, and he seems a little eccentric too in his interviews and stuff. Like he's like, this whole Harry Potter thing, I don't really get it, but whatever. I was in it. He just seems really flighty about it. But hey, that's the mark of eccentric genius, I guess, in people. They say if you were to have met Mozart, if you watch the movie Amadeus, you know, he acted that way. Sometimes genius is just totally off the wall.
Ironic,
crazy.
And I love his character, but David Thewlis's version of Professor Lupin.
Oh yeah, he's great.
The scenes between Harry and Lupin are just so good.
Very well done. And hey,
the third movie is my favorite movie. The third book, same.
It's the best book too.
I mean, they're all good,
right?
But for some, and maybe because you and I have a Twilight Zone background, and
plus we love werewolves,
and we love werewolves
too. Yeah,
but the time travel element, the werewolf element, and then
just awesome.
To find out there's a bigger, deeper story. That's when it really started turning darker as
That's
a series.
The first dark one, yeah.
I was like, wow, this is so good. And it's still my favorite one to go back to, yeah.
First movie with a different director, too.
Mm-hmm.
The guy from the Spanish, the Mexican director, yeah.
Alfonso Cuarón.
Birthdays today. It's McLeod's birthday today. Dennis Weaver, American actor from
he was chased by a truck.
Chester from Gunsmoke. He was in Steven Spielberg's TV movie Duel. And McLeod on television. He died in 2006. Today is Michelle Phillips' birthday. She's the American singer and actress. She was driving force in the group Mama and the Papas. And what's weird is she was in a movie called Secrets of a Married Man. It was a TV movie in 85 or 86 where William Shatner played her husband. And it was a whole movie about them becoming kind of despondent with each other and growing apart, and him finding love in the arms of a hooker, and it was a drama because that that seems to happen sometimes, and not around here though.
Who knew?
But that
love
was
only
weird.
cost $79.95.
That's right. So very interesting, dramatic movie. Today is Parker Stevenson's birthday. Actor, he was Hardy Boys, Falcon Crest. I forgot
and a director.
Yeah, I forgot he was in Stroker Ace with Burt Reynolds. I can't remember him being in that, but I think he was in that too, if I'm not mistaken. We mentioned her earlier on the show, or maybe off the air we mentioned her. Today is Angelina Jolie's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So I like her. A lot of people don't like her. They find her polarizing. I think she's a really good actress. I like how she performs.
She's got some crazy in her.
Well, that's fine. But again, eccentric, maybe part of that whole thing. And today is Vivian Lyra Blair's birthday. I think that's her name. I can't remember. Vivian Lyra Blair. That's the little girl that plays the very young Princess Leia in Obi-Wan Kenobi. She turns 10 today. So she's an actress. We'll talk about her birthday. I thought she was really good in Bird Box with Sandra Bullock on the Netflix movie. It's a movie about aliens or something have invaded Earth, and they can only kill you if you see them. So a lot of people had to blindfold themselves and find their way around and do things while their either eyes were closed or they were completely shielded their eyes where they couldn't see this thing. For some reason, if you came into eye contact with this thing, if it saw you and you saw it, it could get you. And I don't know how that works, but it made for a very interesting movie. And so when you see it, it's actually pretty chilling. I didn't know how much I'd like it, but I did like it. It's like, what's the other one where it's the creatures that can hear?
Right.
Directed by the guy, I can't remember what was
Krasinski?
Yeah,
John Krasinski.
The British actress was in that. See, here I go again. I'm on the air and I can't think of her name. Emily Blunt was in it. Emily Blunt.
Mm-hmm.
A Quiet Place. That's it. Quiet Place. That's if they could hear you,
I
they'd
enjoyed
find
the
you.
movie until the last 15 minutes. I was like, okay, I'm done.
And then they made a sequel or 3.
And I'm like, how do you make a sequel?
I don't know. But Stacy really liked it, and I think I may watch it one day. Today is National Cheese Day.
Nothing wrong with that.
And today is National Hug Your Cat Day. So I can't do that, so I'll hug my dog instead. If I hugged a cat, I'd have to take a pill, because I'm deathly allergic to them. It's BK on the air.
Inchworm, you gotta know. Won't you with me everywhere I go? Inchworm, inchworm, I'm telling you true. Inchworm, I love you. Inchworm, I love you. Right up and down on the Inchworm from Romper Room.
Raw power. Your bike can have the cycle sound with raw power. It fits on most handlebars and makes the sound of raw power. Raw power, the motorcycle sound from Ideal.
Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Get
oh!
Hey, we're back. It's BK on the air here. We got a whole lot to go here and a whole lot of show to go, so let's just keep rolling along here with a couple more stories I've got right here. One from Variety, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which Alan and I both went to see, and we loved it. We thought it was great. Disney Plus sets a release date for that. If you haven't seen it on the big screen, or you
18
did see
days
it,
from now.
or you did see it and you want to see it streaming, you can see it. The Benedict Cumberbatch-led movie arrives on the streamer June the 22nd, just a handful of weeks after its May 6th release. The film debuted to an astonishing $185 million at the box office domestically, making it the 11th highest grossing opening of all time and the biggest launch of 2022. Now fans will be able to stream the film from home by subscribing to Disney Plus for $8 a month. I guess is that a special they're running, I guess, which is interesting.
I'm glad I signed up when I did.
More than that, I don't remember.
I bought that package where I ended up paying $4 a month for 3 years.
Oh, wow. See, that's good.
Mine's locked and loaded for 3 years.
Following the success of Doctor Strange, Marvel already has a packed slate of new films set to release throughout the summer and fall. That's right, the year chugs on. Next up is Thor: Love and Thunder, set for release on July the 8th. That's right around the corner, too. I remember when that movie was like a year or two off. Again, what did we say back then? Oh, it'll be here. Mm-hmm. It'll be quick. And Black Panther: Wakanda Forever out on November the 11th this year. So that's going to be more in the fall, I guess. But it's on its way. Now, we say fall and whatever, but as we well know, weather-wise in the South, everybody goes, oh, wow, August is finally starting to cool off. Not here.
Not here.
Some of the hottest days in the world are here in August in Georgia, so it's definitely not over by August.
By the way, Disney Plus, I decided to watch something based on a recommendation from a guy our age who said if you're a fan of what Roger Rabbit did for mixing live-action cartoon and all of the intellectual property. Like, you could pick all these cartoon characters.
First time Mickey and Bugs Bunny had ever met. Yeah.
Let me suggest to you, if you have not seen the brand new, available Disney Plus Rescue Rangers movie, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Oh, really? It's the Chip and Dale, yeah.
It's about an hour and a half. It's a movie.
Yeah. Is it? Because I saw it and I'm like, oh, no, Chip and Dale's a movie? Oh, no, Chip and Dale.
I had a blast watching it, probably because they followed the Roger Rabbit model.
Okay, good. Then I may watch it then. All right, good recommendation.
Chip stays traditional animation, but Dale, who's still trying to find his own fame and fortune on his own, has the CG surgery.
They're making fun of it even. That's funny.
They make fun of that. He's great. Part of the back alley of a Comic-Con kind of festival circuit where he's trying to sell like his own picture and make money.
That's hilarious.
I mean, you name an intellectual property from the 80s that you and I, or 90s that we may have watched. Somehow they're all in this.
They had some rights to pay,
There's even a South Park reference.
Really? In a Disney film. Wow.
And I will tell you, wink, wink, a sort of Ant-Man reference.
Oh, I heard Paul Rudd is in it. I heard that. That was reported.
Please.
That's
watch
funny.
it.
Okay, I'll watch it.
And I think I think Stacy would enjoy it.
She probably will. It's got Disney
because
on it.
imagine with her kids, they were probably the right age. They were watching the Cartoon Rescue Rangers show in the 90s.
Probably were, yeah.
So check it out. My recommendation for a fun little ride, if you liked Roger Rabbit, because it mixes real life, cartoon, and 3D
How
animation.
can I say no after that recommendation? I guess I'll have to watch it now.
Check it out.
Well, another movie, talking about movies, another one has a anniversary today, June the 4th.
Beyond the darkness, beyond the human evolution, is Khan, a genetically superior tyrant. Exiled to a barren planet, banished by a starship commander he is destined to destroy. Left for dead, he has survived.
I'll chase him round the moons of Nibia and round the Antares maelstrom and round perdition's flames before I give him up. There she is. There she is.
Shield's collapsing, Captain.
Can you defend your power? A few shots, sir. Not enough against their shields. The base is starboard.
Scotty, I need warp speed in 3 minutes or we're all dead.
I've done far worse than kill you. I've hurt you. And I wish to go on hurting you. I shall leave you as you left me, marooned for all eternity, buried alive, buried alive.
At the end of the universe lies the beginning of vengeance. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
That's right. Back in 1982, 40 years ago on June the 4th. Everybody was a welcomed return to the motion picture of second Star Trek film after the first one, Star Trek the Motion Picture, that your mom said she wasn't taking you to see this one because the first one, she didn't like the first one.
I
So.
begged her. I was like, we want to.
So funny.
Like, have you seen the trailer? It looks so much better than the first movie. She goes, I'm not. I'm going to drop you and your brother off. I'll go do some shopping.
Well, at least you got to see it.
I did.
You and your brother did.
It was one of my first. In fact, it was the very first movie I ever saw by myself. Like, it was my brother, but no adult. It was where my mom literally dropped us off. It was Lakeside Mall, just outside of Michigan, outside of Detroit.
Wow.
And we went and watched The Wrath of Khan on the big screen. I was 11 years old.
Just to give you an idea of what was going on with The Wrath of Khan, and I've read this in several places. And we got an interview with Ricardo Montalban from 1982 coming up, which is very interesting, to continue the celebrating the anniversary.
Yeah, you can't interview him now. It'd be
Star
tough.
Trek II, The Wrath of Khan's budget was $12 million.
Yeah, they scaled it back just a hair from the motion
first
picture.
film was $42 million. Now, granted, they had a lot of things they could still use. They had all the sets still already built. They had the Enterprise model was already built, the dry dock.
Did they reuse some of the
leaving the
CG?
dry dock? Yeah, the same thing. Reused leaving
Not
the dry
really
dock.
CG. I guess at that time it was
No,
motion
it was
control.
ILM, man. Yeah, 1982. ILM at their best. But watching it, we found out that Star Trek II, yeah, they were left with a bad taste in their mouth over the money that was spent on the first film, even though the first film was very successful money-wise. But The Wrath of Khan took $12 million to film. It made almost $100 million in the theater in 1982 money back then. Back then, you didn't have billion-dollar movies that made $1 billion. That was big. Well, they said, let's bring Harve Bennett in. He's a producer that's mostly known for television and stuff. He knows how to save money. He knows how to shoot smartly, spend money smartly. That's what we need. So what he did is he sat down and he screened all 79 episodes of Star Trek and watched them. That was just part of his job. He's like, I need to watch every one of these.
Did you like to have that as a job? Like, we're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
hire
my
you.
job.
Before you get into this job,
Well,
we need you to go.
The whole pressure, though, of bringing the movie in under budget, that's where I'd be scared, though, because that would be your responsibility, too. So he decided, he goes, oh, this is an interesting episode, Space Seed with Ricardo Montalban.
Mm-hmm.
And the last scene of Space Seed, Spock says something like, "Wouldn't it be interesting to return to this planet and see what they've done after we've left them here, and see what seeds have been sown from them on this planet?" Well, that was it.
For those who don't know, he tried to mutiny and take over.
Yeah.
And Kirk actually thought he was being magnanimous.
Genetic engineer human being.
He's like, "Look, I'm not going to kill you, but I am going to leave you on this planet.
I'm not going to imprison you, but I'm going to strand you on this planet."
And remember, one of his crew members went with him.
Build your own society, because she was a traitor to Khan. Well, he thought that was a good story to make a movie out of, so they started working on it. But he also said, listen, the Paramount movie studios, they're not going to take care of the production of this movie. We're going to use the Paramount television crew, television people, grips, people who work in television instead of movies. That will keep the cost down, too, for this film. Then we'll hire okay director that's had some things under his belt, but not a lot of people know him. We'll take a chance on him. He seems to be pretty good. Nicholas Meyer, hired director. So they did. They spent a lot less money on this movie, and it came out to be a lot more successful and well-known and considered a much better film than the first one. That's just proof that you can't just throw money at stuff and expect it to be great. But watching this film, they reused. They just took the bridge set from the Enterprise and redressed it for the Reliant bridge when they shot those scenes. It's almost the same bridge. It's just smaller. So
which kind of makes sense.
They just redressed
They're all
it,
one
relit
big
it,
happy fleet.
Yeah, relit it and stuff. And it was great. They reused the leaving. They reused several shots from the motion picture, like leaving dry dock. Enterprise, going away at impulse power or something. They're like, we only need a shot from that. Let's just use that shot.
Isn't it amazing, though, that just changing the score gives you a different feel of when they leave dry dock?
Yep.
Because I do love the motion picture
both the scores are really good.
But the seafaring kind of score,
the echoing trumpets,
making it more feel like it's you could set this on the high seas, as if reminding everybody it is the Navy. It's just in space.
Do I see Gregory Peck on the deck of the Horatio Hornblower movie? That's what his inspiration was. But I thought that was interesting and the movie was so successful. I mean, everybody's like, the Wrath of Khan. He was parodied as a villain a lot. And now when you say, what are the 5 biggest movie villains of all time, or the 10 biggest movie villains of all time? Well, usually Darth Vader gets the number 1 spot. But you know what? Somewhere in the top 5, Khan is on there from just being in one movie with one performance. And it was that powerful.
It's amazing.
And I think it's great. And even he had problems. He may say it in a little bit in the interview that's coming up. But when they brought them all back, Ricardo Montalban didn't want to come back and play Khan. But he talked to Nicholas Meyer, read the script, and he goes, "Oh, this is actually, it's not a cameo. This is really a big role." And he said he started to do the role and read the script, and he goes, "When I read the script, Wrath of Khan, and I was kind of practicing in the front of the mirror, all I heard was Mr. Rourke from Fantasy Island every time I'd talk." He goes, "I don't know what I had. What was I doing as Khan back then?" So even Ricardo Montalban, he didn't have a copy of it. So he said, "Hey, can you folks send me a copy of Space Seed and let me watch it?" And he says, "I watched it," and he goes, that's what I was doing. This guy, this passionate guy who thinks he's right, revenge, vengeance." And he goes, "I have it now." So he decided to do it. So I'm like, if he couldn't get it, I guess he wouldn't have been Khan, and maybe they would have went in another direction. I don't know.
Just the whole cat and mouse, the whole ship-to-ship combat, but then also captain to captain and genius to genius, but different.
Yep.
It's so good.
And Kirk and Khan never come face-to-face in the film, ever. Only on a view screen.
And they weren't even acting at the same time.
That's right. Isn't that funny? And it still comes off as successful. It's great. Speak on there. We'll have more Wrath of Khan stuff when we come back.
I've done far worse than kill you. I've hurt you. And I wish to go on hurting you.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The 1979 Cordoba. Perhaps its essential luxury can be known only by driving it, for this is a liberation, a new freedom, a most rare experience. As you turn and climb, there is a feeling of continuous achievement. Cordoba. Classic styling, uncompromised comfort. Cordoba, the contemporary classic from Chrysler.
Whenever I feel like a great tasting meal, I go back to Del Taco again.
And you'll come back for our new Big Del Burrito. It's busting with natural cheddar cheese, savory beans, pure sour cream, lettuce, tomato, and spicy beef. Big Del Burrito. It's the biggest value in town.
Del Taco's hot stuff, I just can't get enough. So I'm back in Del Taco again. Hot stuff.
Groovy. When it comes to shows about movies and comic books, heroes and crazy news, I tune into PK on the air from 10 to noon Saturdays.
And that's me right here. It's PK on the air. AM 1450 and 100.3 FM WBHF. We've been talking about The Wrath of Khan. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, the second Star Trek film. It's an anniversary today. I remember going into a theater in Gadsden, Alabama, and seeing that the week that it opened. My dad dropped me off. Then on the way home, we stopped at a convenience store, and I saw buttons and a slushy cup with Star Trek on it. And I'm like, I want those, Dad. Can I have those? And I was able to get a Star Trek cup and a Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan
all of
button.
a sudden, I have this sudden urge for a slushie, just for nostalgia.
You
we
had
used to
a
get, we call them Slurpees because we went to 7-Eleven, but we could get a Slurpee.
You got a
I haven't had one of those in a long time.
Certain
I
urge
wonder what
for
happens
a
if you put vodka
Big
in a
Mac
Slurpee.
last week.
I bet that's good. No, I did not. I almost did.
No, so you had an urge.
I almost did.
Had an urge.
My urge.
You need a Big Mac and a slushie.
No.
There you go.
Can't do both.
Takes
at the
care
same
of
time.
both at the same time. We're talking about The Wrath of Khan. Let's hear what Ricardo Montalban had to say in this interview. He had a little interview from 1982 about The Wrath of Khan. He's no longer with us, and we remember him as a great actor. But here's Ricardo Montalban, Khan himself.
No, I have played in the past antagonists, or let's call them villains, and I realized very early in my career that a villain doesn't think that he's a villain. He does villainous things, but he doesn't act villainously. Otherwise, he would not be a human being. And when I play good guys, I try to also find some fault in them, because nobody is totally good or totally bad. This man had a distorted resentment that, of course, his villainy becomes more obvious. But he doesn't think of himself as a villain. He thinks that he's doing the right thing. Vengeance for the injustice to his wife, the death of his wife, you know.
Yes, there's Ricardo Montalban.
Gosh, such a good interview.
And he's right. I mean, when it comes to all of that, including being a villain, that's the best way to play a villain, because if the villain doesn't think he's doing anything bad, he's a pretty good villain. You know, because he's okay.
Thanos is such
justified.
a good villain.
Totally justified. From the same era, 1982, let's hear a little bit about The Wrath of Khan. And lady, I don't know who it is asking. Maybe it's Entertainment Tonight or somebody asking the questions. Here's Admiral Kirk William Shatner.
I really enjoyed the movie, Bill, but I just was particularly taken by one aspect of the film, and that is in Star Trek II, it makes it respectable to be over 35.
But not much over. And not very respectable. Yes, well, it's the movie is about youth and old age and death and love and whatever.
And that middle age group, the way that is handled in the movie, for instance, you with the glasses and that routine. Did you have any reservations about that aspect, that maybe it would be a turnoff to young people?
Well, it in fact was suggested not to do it at one point by some people who thought they had my best interests at heart. My feeling has always been that the more human you can make a character, the more vulnerable, the more identifiable, the better it is. And so we sought all means possible to do that.
There is Shatner talking about Star Trek II, making other good points, I guess.
I agree. You make somebody more relatable,
yeah,
then suddenly what's happening to them becomes more like it hits you.
Well, we usually do quizzes from MeTV regarding TV shows and stuff like that, but I figure since today, and it's a little earlier than the show than we usually do them, but we can do it right now because there's not that many questions. I'm going to give Alan a Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan quiz. I found this on funtrivia.com, and it's actually a pretty good quiz. It's not that easy, but it's not that hard either. I think it's maybe in the middle, at least for me it was, but a couple of them were like, wait a minute, I don't know I got to think about the question to that. So you may have to think about these a little bit, and they're pretty detailed, especially this first one, because I had to think about this one in reverse, and I'll tell you why after you answer it. The first question, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan quiz. Here we go. Of the original Enterprise crew at the beginning, in which order do they die in the Kobayashi Maru simulation? And you have 4 to choose from. First is Uhura, Bones, Spock, and then Sulu. The next is Spock, Sulu, Uhura, and Bones. The next answer is Bones, Spock, Sulu, then Uhura last. And the last one is Sulu, Uhura, Bones, and Spock. Out of all those, I don't know if you remember.
Read the last one again.
The last one, Sulu, Uhura, Bones, and then Spock.
That one.
That one. I'll put that in his answer. It's not going to tell us the correct ones until the end. When we first hear Chekhov on the Reliant, he's making a log entry at the beginning. What's the star date?
Oh, my God.
8030.4, 8040.4, 8140.4, or 8130.4.
Oh my God.
And I only remember this one because of another log entry later in the film by someone else. And I'm like, oh, wait, that's not too far ahead of the one this character made later on in the film. So I got that one right, too.
All right, so you're going to have to give me those again.
8030.4.
Okay.
8040.4. 8140.4 or 8130.4.
I'm going to say the 8130.4, but I'm sure it's wrong.
Okay, entering that one in. And what is the name of the ship that Khan and his followers originally came from? Here's your wait, hold on. Here's your choices, though. Your choices are USS Botany Bay, U.S. Botany Bay, Botany Bay, SS Botany Bay.
SS Botany Bay.
SS Botany Bay is your answer.
Why am I doing the D on all of them? Then, see, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. We may have to go back to 1 and 2. But okay.
All right, number 4. How long have Khan and his followers been marooned on the planet where they were found? How long have they been there, according to the film? 14 years, 15 years, 17 years, or 16 years in The Wrath of Khan, 40th anniversary, today, Star Trek II. Your answers, sir. You need them again?
See, I was going to go 15 without the list, and then you said 16. I'm like...
So basically it's 14, 15, 16, or 17
right.
years. Which one?
15.
15 years. You choose 15. Okay, I've entered it in. It's going to tally it up here at the end.
I'm going to make so many of these wrong.
What is the command override of the Reliant? The numbers Spock put in for the command override of Reliant. And Kirk actually says the letters, the numbers out loud, too. 16309... 0913 69031 or 30961.
The first one, 16309.
16309. You seem pretty confident about that one. What does Captain Terrell call Khan when they find them on Genesis? What does he call him? Does he say Master, My Lord, Your Excellency, or King Khan?
3, Your Excellency.
It would have been really cool if he'd called him King Khan.
King Khan.
That would have been great.
Your Excellency, have you been listening?
Yes.
I have indeed.
Thank you, King Khan. Where's Godzilla? What is the name of the nebula that Enterprise lures Khan into? The Dragon Nebula, the Kobayashi Nebula, the Crab Nebula, or the Shoki Nebula?
Wait a second.
It's not. It's not Shoki. I substituted Mutara for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Because you knew that. I knew you knew that.
I'm like, wait a minute. Where's Mutara?
I take it you're going to say Mutara. Had you worried there for a second?
I was like, wait a minute.
Khan's thinking is described as what? 3-dimensional?
2.
21st century, childlike, or 2-dimensional?
2.
Okay.
2-dimensional.
Some of these you really know. What is Khan's first officer's name? Is it Hashim, Joachim, Jor-El, or Janal?
Joaquin.
Okay, Joaquin, all right.
I shall avenge you.
Last question, number 10.
That's too much your problem. Too much avenging.
Khan says he spits at what at Kirk? Spits what at Kirk?
His last breath.
Fire from his heart. Little hearts from him. Phasers from his eyes.
I shoot phasers. I spit them at you.
Acid from his mouth. Khan's a rattlesnake.
Yeah.
He's an alien. Or his last breath.
His last breath.
Are you sure? Is that your final answer?
So I'm like you. The first two... And maybe I would do better if I looked at them versus hearing them, but I'm going to, for sake of brevity.
We're running out of time. I'm going to hit submit my answers and check them out. Here we go.
I'm going to be wrong in the first two.
Number 1, you're right. You're actually right, because I always knew Spock died last. So I had to go
That's where I was going with the list. I was like, I need to know where Spock died.
When we first hear Chekhov, blah, 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 your answer is 8130.4. That is correct. You got the star date right that Chekhov did.
Those are the two I was worried about.
SS Botany Bay, you got correct. How long have they been marooned on the planet? 15 years. And it says they weren't actually marooned, they were exiled, so that's true. What's the command override of the Reliant? 16309. That is correct. He called him Your Excellency. That is correct. The Mutara Nebula is correct. Two-dimensional thinking is correct. Joaquim, you got every question right. You got 10 out of 10.
I tell you, I was sweating the first two.
I told you would. There's a couple questions. Be down there. We'll be back with more.
Star Trek, the game. A game so challenging, you need this combat control panel to play it. Take command of the Starship Enterprise as you battle your way through unknown sectors. Blast Klingons. Raise your shields. Watch for space mines. Is this the most challenging game in the galaxy?
It's inhuman.
Star Trek from Sega.
Hello, I'm William Shatner, here to talk to you about training for a better career through ICS. If you've wondered just how home study training works, well, it's no secret. Here's what happens. Once you enroll in an ICS course, you'll receive training shipments that come right to your doorstep. Each package has specific projects for you to complete. The projects are designed to simulate real-world situations. They're fun, with easy-to-follow instructions. Plus, you get all the equipment and supplies you need for hands-on experience. When you've completed your project, you take an open book exam that tests real understanding rather than just how much you can memorize. You mail in your exam, and in just a few days it'll be graded and sent back, often with comments from your instructor. Then the next project is shipped to you, and so it goes until you've completed your training and received your ICS diploma or degree. You'll feel confident because you'll join the over 10 million other men and women who have received accredited ICS training. Call now to get your free personalized career pack on the course you're most interested in. If you've been thinking about training for a new career, don't put off getting your free ICS career pack any longer. Call for it right now.
In 1972, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.
The A-Team from NBC, classic television series, which is funny because I was telling you off the air, I watched that title sequence and you see Dirk Benedict there standing there in a Cylon from Battlestar Galactica, walks right in front of him as the face that he played, and he just looks at him, he looks at the Cylon and points to him like, hey, like he recognized who that is or what that is. What is that thing?
Little inside joke.
I opened with that because I found out a great article on MeTV, and I thought I'd talk about it today. George Peppard, the star of the A-Team, classic actor. Before the A-Team was ever on, he was already a classic actor. It might be surprising or not to you what he thought about the his role in the A-Team. When he got cast to lead the A-Team as John Hannibal Smith, the actor was going through one of the toughest periods of his life, George Peppard. The previous year, he picked up some bad habits, gone through some difficult divorce, and got kicked off Dynasty. I didn't know this because he got a reputation for being difficult to work with. Now, 3 years passed without any new roles for him, and he worried he'd driven his career into the ground, telling the Evening Post in 1983 that he said, I felt like I was on Skid Row, he said. Quote, in other words, I was really at the bottom. My career seemed to be going nowhere, unquote. What helped him get his act together were his three grown-up kids who saw their father struggling and banding together like their own ragtag team of superheroes to lift their dad back up. Quote, they were tremendously supportive when they could so easily have abandoned me, Peppard said. Gradually, they made me respect myself again. I put the past behind me as far as emotional problems were concerned, unquote. Around that time, series co-creator Stephen J. Cannell approached Peppard to see if he was interested in playing the part of Hannibal on the A-Team. Now, Cannell thought Peppard would be perfect for the role, but the TV creator had to argue for long hours with the NBC network chiefs, whose top choice was not Peppard. In the end, Cannell won, and Peppard got cast to join the A-Team. And I don't know if it says who their original
I'd be curious to know who the execs wanted.
The first thing Peppard did when he got the news was start pumping iron, he said, and working out. Quote, I've got to get pretty fit for the series. We do most of our own fights and stunts. It's just as well that the series has come now. A few years ago, I couldn't have handled all this physical stuff, unquote. Not only was Peppard doing his own stunts, but he also was putting in longer hours than ever in his career. And we know that's true because television production is like a maniac thing. It's brutal, TV production schedules. He said it was worth it to be back on top again and to bonded immediately with the rest of the A-Team cast. He said there's a good relationship among the men, Papard told the Modesto Bee in 1983. They're all good-hearted, and Mr. T is a thoroughly professional actor no matter what anyone says. We put in some long days, up to 14 to 15 hours a day shooting, but it was well worth it. He ended. Papard said when he first showed up for rehearsals, though, he was absolutely petrified at that point. He worried he might slip back into old habits and repeat the mistakes that got him kicked off the television series Dynasty. I heard Papard did have a problem with drinking and alcoholism, too, was another thing I heard. However, it was because he knew his kids were rooting for his success that inspired him to keep making better choices. He wanted them to be proud of their dad again. He said, I thought of my kids and how good they had been, and I realized I just had to do it on my own. In his career, Papard continued acting after the A-Team ended in 1987. Is that when it ended? I couldn't remember the year that it went off the air. But he passed away after a battle with lung cancer in 1994. His final TV role came on Matlock in 1994. He said he knew he was nobody's first choice for the role of Hannibal on the A-Team, but he was determined to prove he was the right choice. He was happy to be given another chance in the spotlight. Quote, "This is possibly the best role of my career," unquote, he finally said in 1983. So that's what he thought of his role in the A-Team. 770-386-1450 is our number. Somebody's calling right now. Hey, it's BK on the air. Hello.
Hey, what's up? It's Eric.
Hey, Eric. How you doing there, bud?
You know, Alan asked who the executives want for Hannibal when
for Hannibal, yeah.
When they did the A-Team.
Do you know who it was?
Yeah, James Coburn.
Oh, James Coburn. Well, I could see that. Yeah, James Coburn, very George.
I mean, you need. They wanted him, but they couldn't get him, so they got
George Papard.
Well,
wow,
it makes sense.
Okay.
They needed someone to be the leader of the group that had some gravitas to him.
And a little older.
A little older, a little wiser. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I liked Papard's role.
And you know what's crazy, Eric, is we were talking about this, too, before in the past. Remember the TV show with Edward Woodward? We've talked about it before, The Equalizer, the original show. We don't have any more leading guys that are heroes on television that are older than like 35, maybe 40 years old now, which makes me mad. They don't do that anymore.
Well, I mean, look at y'all's age. I mean,
well, do we have to?
I can see where that would make y'all mad.
But I will say this. I will say that Tom Selleck on Blue Bloods is an older guy that's in that the New York police show, which I hear is pretty good. I haven't seen the show. I hear it's pretty good.
Yeah, what is wrong with you?
Well, I know. I can't watch everything.
We talked about this before.
I can't watch everything. I got a lot of things to watch and things. I got a lot of time, and I'm busy. I got a lot of things to do. What?
By the way, Dirk Benedict wasn't the first face either.
Who was the first face on there?
A guy named Tim Dunnigan.
So when did they replace him with Dirk?
Look at the pilot.
Right. So he's only in the pilot.
They replaced him because he was too young.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. See, here's the problem with the A-Team. I never watched it. I never got to watch the show. So I think that he just had a stroke. I think there was another. Listen, I think there was another show on at the time back when that was on, and I was watching something else, and that's not in the day of streaming where you could just watch it later. If you missed it, you missed it. So I'm sorry. I ask myself that question every day.
Eric, I watched every episode of the A-Team.
Alan can talk A-Team with you.
I love
the
A-Team.
I mean, and honestly, Alan, I'm about to pay you a compliment.
Oh, wait a minute.
You look and you act a lot like Dirk Benedict.
Okay, I think he sounds like Dirk Benedict, but I don't know that he looks like him. Alan's hair is not pretty enough to be Dirk Benedict. Look like Starbuck.
Let me grow it back out.
You need to grow it back, blonde it up a little bit.
What you looking at his hair for? What?
Well, that's probably.
He's got some latency issues.
It's the best thing he's ever said about you. That's good.
Well.
All right,
I'm having a good day.
You gave Alan a compliment. We'll leave it at that. That's a good way to end the call. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Wilford Brimley.
Bye. Thank you very much, and don't get diabetes. On the air.
Thank you, Wilford Brimley.
How did I become Wilford Brimley? Oh, my goodness.
You got to try to grow one of those stashes where you can't see your mouth talk.
Like a broomstick mustache. He had one in The Thing, man. Not The Thing. In Remo Williams.
Yeah.
He did that
Remo
big broomstick.
Williams.
He did not have a mustache in The Thing because that's how I got. Because I'd seen him. I'd seen it before, and I'm like, wait, that's the guy from Remo? Right. I didn't know that.
It threw me off when I saw him in The Thing because I always saw Wilford Brimley with the big stash.
That's right. Remo, we're a part of Cure. You can come in here and be a part of our secret organization.
Sam Elliott, when he talks, you can't see his mouth move. You're like, I know you're talking because I hear you.
Where did I see that?
Where's your mouth?
Remember how we joked about how Back to the Future is as far back now as it was to the 50s, back when the movie was out. It's as far back in time as it is now, back to 85. Wilford, where did I see? I'm the same age now. I'm the same age now as Wilford Brimley was in Cocoon. And I'm like, no, I can't be.
Some people, though, Wilford Brimley looked like old when he hit 30 and stayed the same look through his career.
I think when he turned 11, from 11 to 12, he went, boom, he's old. All of a sudden.
Have you seen Operation Mincemeat yet?
Not yet, but I'm going to watch it. Because I like that story. I like that story about the
I've been thinking
the
about
dead
that
man
movie
from England.
since I saw it. It sticks with you. It's that good.
Well, it's more haunting to you because it happened.
It's
they
true,
really did that.
But the acting is just so good. All these
cast is
British
great.
actors, they're all just phenomenal.
I love the cast. But what happened to be on last night when I got in because I was so tired, I happened to catch it had been going for about 15 minutes, and it's a movie by Bryan Singer that I really love, and it was a Valkyrie.
Oh, yeah, with
where they try to assassinate Hitler. It's Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
But it's funny watching Tom Cruise interact with Kenneth Branagh, and all these other great British actors. And Tom Cruise is all right in it. He does a pretty good job. So
you need to go see Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
We'll either go see it or we'll stream it or something. We'll watch it.
Stream it. It's on Disney Plus.
Hey, all I got to do is say, hey, honey, there's a Disney movie. Can we watch it? She's like, yes.
Just to try to name all the cartoons that are referenced.
It's BK on the air. See you on the podcast. And we'll see you next week.
So long, farewell, our readers say adieu.
Adieu, adieu, to you and you and you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.